you ever wondered why some days you feel unstoppable and other days you can't seem to get out of bed? Today, we're diving into the heart of discipline, what it really is, why it matters, and how you can build it, so your best days outnumber the rest. By the end of this episode, you'll understand the simple mindset shifts that unlock consistent action, the everyday habits that fuel long-term success, and practical tips you can start using right now. So, stay with me as we explore real stories, gentle reflections, and step-by-step insights that will help you become the person who follows through, day in and day out. What does discipline look like in real life? Imagine Sarah, a busy mom who wants to learn English but keeps postponing her practice. Last month, she made a promise: 30 minutes every morning. And for 2 weeks, she kept it, until life happened. Her toddler got sick, her partner worked late, and suddenly her plans vanished. In this part, let's walk through Sarah's journey. Notice how her initial excitement, her intrinsic motivation, fades without a simple system. I'll share how she discovered that true discipline isn't about iron willpower. It's about designing her environment, so the right choice is the easy choice. You'll hear the moment she shifted her mindset from "I must" to "I get to," and how that small change helped her return to her practice the very next day, even when her schedule was a mess. Why do we rely on motivation when we need discipline? Picture motivation as the spark that lights a fire, and discipline as the wood that keeps it burning. When you rely only on motivation, you're at the mercy of emotion. In this section, we'll explore the difference between those flickering bursts of inspiration and the steady glow of daily practice. I'll share a personal story about the time I waited for motivation to edit a podcast episode and ended up delaying release by weeks. Then I'll explain how I created a simple 2-minute rule. If I sit at my desk, I commit to at least 2 minutes of work. That tiny commitment overcomes inertia and often turns into a full hour of focused editing. By the end of this part, you'll see how small, consistent actions build momentum far more reliably than waiting for motivation to strike. How can habits become your ally? Think of habits like the autopilot in a plane. Once set, they keep you on course without constant effort. In this section, we'll break down the 4 components of a habit loop: cue, craving, response, and reward, and use examples from everyday life. I'll walk you through how I built a daily journaling habit to track my progress on YouTube scripts, transforming overwhelm into clarity. You'll learn how to choose a clear cue, like placing your journal on your pillow, and pair it with a craving, such as the peace you feel after writing. Then we'll talk about how small rewards reinforce the loop, cementing the habit so it becomes effortless over time. What role does environment play in your discipline? Your surroundings shape your choices more than you think. I'll describe how I realized my cluttered desk was sabotaging my creativity, and how a simple reorganization, putting only my notebook and a pen in view, made it easier to sit down and write. We'll discuss how to audit your own space, removing friction from the behaviors you want to encourage, and adding barriers to those you want to avoid. By the end of this section, you'll have a clear strategy for designing physical and digital spaces that support your goals without feeling like a chore. How do you overcome the all-or-nothing mindset? Many of us believe that if we can't do something perfectly, we shouldn't do it at all. Let's unpack that perfection trap. I'll share the story of my first live recording, when technical glitches and a shaky voice made me want to quit. Instead, I learned to embrace imperfections as part of the journey. We'll explore how adopting a good enough mindset can keep you in the game and prevent burnout, and how to distinguish between areas where excellence matters and areas where incremental progress is the real win. What's the secret of accountability? Feeling alone in your goals makes discipline feel like pushing a boulder uphill. In this part, I'll talk about my friend Omar, who started a twice-weekly study group for English learners. We'll walk through how sharing your commitment with others creates gentle social pressure that keeps you on track, and how to choose an accountability partner whose rhythms complement yours. You'll hear concrete examples of how simple check-ins, from a quick text to a shared Google Doc, can boost your follow-through exponentially. How do you handle setbacks without losing momentum? Discipline isn't about never failing, it's about bouncing back. I'll recount the episode when I missed recording 2 episodes in a row due to illness, and how beating myself up destroyed my confidence more than the missed work did. Together, we'll explore the concept of a reset ritual, a small compassionate routine that helps you re-engage after a pause. You'll learn how to design your own reset ritual, whether it's brewing a cup of tea, taking a 5-minute walk, or simply writing down 3 things you're grateful for. How can you track your progress meaningfully? Without feedback, you're flying blind. I'll explain how I use a simple habit tracker to monitor my podcast recordings, and how seeing consecutive check marks lights up the reward center in my brain. We'll talk about choosing the right metric, focusing on the process, days practiced, instead of the outcome, episodes published, and how to interpret your data to make tweaks and improvements without judgment. What role does self-compassion play in discipline? It may seem counterintuitive, but the kinder you are to yourself, the more likely you'll stick with your goals. I'll share a moment when harsh self-criticism derailed my writing for days, and how learning to speak to myself as I would to a friend changed everything. We'll discuss practical self-compassion exercises, like using a gentle inner dialogue, reminding yourself of your why, and reframing failures as learning opportunities. How do you build discipline into a busy life? We all juggle responsibilities, and time feels scarce. In this section, I'll walk you through a week in my life, balancing teaching, creating, and personal time, showing you how I squeeze in practice with micro-scheduling and themed days. You'll hear how I transform waiting in line moments into flash study sessions, and how I batch tasks so I can focus deeply without constant context switching. What's the power of purpose in sustaining discipline? When your why is clear, discipline feels meaningful, not burdensome. I'll explore how clarifying your deeper purpose, be it personal growth, career advancement, or simply the joy of learning, fuels long-term commitment. You'll hear my personal mission statement for Luna's English podcast, and how revisiting that mission keeps me aligned when challenges arise. How can you use rewards wisely? Not every reward is created equal. In this segment, I'll explain the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic rewards, sharing how I celebrate milestones on my channel, like recording 10 episodes, with small treats that reinforce my intrinsic love of teaching. You'll learn to design a reward system that energizes you without derailing your long-term goals. How do you adapt your discipline as your goals evolve? Discipline isn't static, it grows with you. I'll tell the story of how my focus shifted from daily scripts to deeper community engagement, and how I adjusted my routines accordingly. We'll discuss how to periodically audit your habits, let go of what no longer serves you, and adopt new practices that fit your changing priorities. What's the next step on your discipline journey? We've covered mindset, habits, environment, self-compassion, and more. Now, let's bring it all together. I'll guide you through a simple action plan you can start today. Identify one small habit, set up your environment, choose an accountability partner, and plan your first reset ritual. Remember, discipline is a skill you build daily. Thank you for listening to Luna's English podcast. Keep going, and I'll see you next time.